Hey guys, what is up? So I got a lot of traction on that going away on vacation video with reptile prep and everything. So I thought I would do a follow-up to that, just because everybody was kind of curious how it went, at least talking on Facebook and stuff like that, and how, you know, they should go about approaching it. So I'm going to just go, and this kind of can act as a check-in vlog too, of how everybody's doing and everything. And I'll just recap how it went, what the sitter said coming back and everything. Specifically because, you know, if you saw my last video about the Ackie eggs that my wonderful Dell over here laid while I was away, you know, she laid those while I was gone. So, you know, I was a little worried about that when I first saw she was deflated when I came home, just because, like, I wasn't even here for that, you know. So, we'll talk about all that and any concerns I had, how it went, if I, you know, still recommend everything I said, basically, and we'll go from there. Real quick, guys, if you haven't, make sure to check that lower right-hand corner and hit the subscribe button. Hit that bell so you know when I post more updates. Alright, guys, let's start with the one and only Maxine Pegasus. She did really well. I have actually really little to say about it. She pooped well while I was gone. She ate well. She's doing good on the cutback of dubia roaches and other insects and vertebrates I'm feeding her. She's picking out her salad a little bit more, a little less than I would like still, so I'm still trying to cut back on the food a little bit until she starts picking at it a little bit more. But she's being good. She's, you know, going out and basking more, being more active, running around, and just all that stuff. So I really have little to say about that. She's doing really well. And there was no problems for going over vacation, so everything I did for her prep-wise is A-okay. Alright, next we have Tortellini. Tortellini has been a little weird lately, but overall did pretty much the same stuff while I was away on vacation, so no issues there. Basically, what I mean by him being a little bit weird is he's been really hiding a lot, and you know, tortoises are supposed to kind of come out and travel a little bit. I've been a little concerned with his enclosure. Maybe he needs a little bit more space. I don't know. It was also a little hot in here. For some reason, when I left, the room temperature really went up a lot, despite me putting in a couple AC units. So the temperature was a little bit hotter than I would have liked in terms of his basking spot. Maybe that discouraged him a little bit. He's also being quite picky again on his food. You know, he still loves his endives. He still loves his tortoise diet. He'll pick a little bit at mustard greens, but, you know, he's going back to that pickiness, so I have to work on that a little bit and work on his activity. No problems, though. I don't think he's getting overweight or, you know, any issues, you know, with him that I would be super concerned about. It's more just his overall, you know, well-being and attitude I'm trying to promote and, you know, his mental health. Now, you guys who watched the video, you would know that I did a little different of things for my Ackies and Crested Gecko. I really didn't have the pet sitter focus on them too much. I actually just threw in a bunch of crickets and roaches for the three of them and filled up their water bowls and everything. The only thing really the pet sitter did was spray down my Crested Gecko's enclosure every day to keep the humidity up. So I really didn't have the pet sitter focus on them too much. And overall it went well, no problems, nothing I'm really concerned about. Both Asus and Dell were pretty hungry though when I came back. They really went after the roaches, which is understandable and fine since they, you know, they're opportunists. They'll eat right away if they can, so they probably ate most of the roaches and the crickets when I first left and kind of got hungry towards the end of the week. And as you guys know, Dell also laid eggs, so she was a little extra hungry, but that was because of, you know, a different circumstance. And she's doing great right now, by the way. For those of you who are just curious, I gave her two really calcium-soaked pinkies when I got back. That filled her up, and I've been putting a couple extra roaches into her feeding schedule. You could still see a couple folds, though, from her laying the eggs. Those should go away soon. But yeah, overall they went really well, and I think just throwing in a bunch of insects and vertebrates for them and filling up their water, making sure their humidity is good, and then going away for a week is totally a fine process to do. But I think since I have a pet sitter who did really well, charged a very reasonable price, next time I have to go away, I'll just let her take care of the Ackies, because why not keep them on their feeding schedule? I think it makes a lot of sense to do that, as long as it doesn't break my wallet or anything, and she's doing everything right, and she, like I said, she did. Wonderful service. I would recommend it, but I doubt a lot of you people are in my area. One question I'll actually pose to you guys is how to really handle your feeders, your colonies, when you go away, because I really don't prep for them that much. I kind of just throw in a lot of fruits and veggies for them, like a lot, And that's pretty much all I do. I don't really, give the sitter instructions for them because I really don't want the sitter to have to focus on them, and sometimes they're not super enthusiastic about, touching roaches or, certain bugs and everything. This one was, so maybe I can ask her, but I think it's kind of, below what she needs to do. I think they're usually fine. I mean, they are fine, no mass deaths or anything or any problems. It's just they were obviously hungry when I came back and I put stuff in, they devoured it. So it would be nice to keep them on, sort of a feeding schedule while I'm away, just so they don't start going at each other and they maintain, a healthy diet and nutrition. So when they get fed to my reptiles, they are jam-packed with healthy stuff. So let me know if you guys have any suggestions of how I can maybe take care of my roach colonies and my crickets, if I have any at the time, while I'm away without having to have the pet sitter really do anything, because I really think that's more of a waste of her time, and I don't know, I don't really want to ask her to do that. So, give me suggestions, guys. Now, I will say one of the biggest challenges, and not challenge in terms of difficulty, but in terms of it being new, was how to properly meal prep for my Tegu, especially because it needs some, being frozen, being defrosted and stuff like that, because there is like meat and, stuff that can go to waste if not properly refrigerated or freezed. So that worked out well. I did a meal prep video that kind of showed how I went about it, and that worked out great. That's what I'm gonna start doing in general though, is just putting, meal prepping every Sunday, putting that all in the freezer except for the first one, the next meal to, come out, that will go in the fridge. Right before I feed it, I'll put it out for defrost just a little bit. It won't take that long since it was in the fridge. And then I'll take one out of the freezer for the next feeding day and put that in the fridge to let it semi-defrost. So that's what I did. That worked well. He is a little picky. I have very much discovered that he does not like kale, and you can see his food bowl's in there right now. That has kale in it, and he has not touched much of it. So I don't know what changed there, because he usually didn't mind. That's a nice poop right there. Sorry about that. I also altered where I put the temperature and humidity reader. I put it on that wall usually over there, but there's a a window there, and it would sometimes heat up that wall and make that inaccurate. So I moved it over, and now it's a little bit more accurate. Actually, it's very accurate now. So yeah, I changed that. He's also been digging a big hole. He's been a big digger lately. But yeah, so overall though, that's worked out well. I drained his bath, and of course more urate, that's great, during that week, just so, he likes to go to the bathroom in there a lot. So, I just drained it because I didn't want the pet sitter to have to deal with that. But anyway, yeah, went really well. That's how I'm going to do his meals from now on. Definitely different, but I'm happy to get into meal prepping since it's going to save me a lot of time during my week. Alright guys, so for Lizzie, and pardon the mess in here, somebody, streaming right now doing art. She really hasn't cleaned up her the office, so
Messy.
she's streaming right there. So if you guys in the chat,
hello chat.
Twitch
Say
meets
hello.
YouTube. There you go.
Hi,
All right.
YouTube.
So I'm guessing Lizzie's in there right now. She's been a huge fan of the humid hide, which is kind of cool. But I thought, and I'm not a leopard gecko expert at all, but I thought they would really only go in there every so often when they're shedding. Maybe she's shedding, but she's been spending a lot of time in there. She's also bringing a lot of the sphagnum moss in there out of the little hide she has there. So I don't know really how to prevent that as much. I gotta think about that, because I came home and I saw a bunch of sphagnum moss all over the paper towels and everything. And some roaches were running around because the sitter left them in there, which was fine. I told her it was fine. I really didn't think about the sphagnum moss. But obviously I don't want any impaction issues, so I'll have to think about that a little bit more. She is having some trouble recognizing the white calcium, on top of the roaches with the paper towels. I don't know if it's a color thing or whatever, but she really doesn't see them that much. So I'm thinking about getting a separate container and just putting her in there for feeding, and then it'll be kind of clear or something that where she could really see the roaches. But that was my biggest concern, is just the sphagnum moss getting out of the little human hide there, and some roaches running around. But I think I'll just get a container for her to eat, and that's that's what I'll do. Overall though, she's really good, keeping her poops up. She laid a nice one right there last night that I have to clean up, and everything went overall really well, like my other reptiles. Are you having a good time over there? Because you guys seem to be making fun of me.
She's got a hedgehog.
All right. Alright guys, so you can see that everybody's doing really good. Not only did I want to do this as a check-in video, because I like to do those at least once a month, so you guys know how everybody's doing, you can see how everybody's progressing and adapting and everything like that. But I also wanted to give more of a solidified ending to that vacation prep video, just so you guys knew it wasn't all talk and everybody turned out fine, and it wasn't just kind of like an experiment and you guys really didn't know how it went. Because like I said, a lot of the chatter about it was, you know, how did this work, how did this go, whatever, and people talking about how they're concerned about doing stuff like that. So I thought this would be nice just to give people calm their fears a little bit more if they're thinking about doing something like this. So anyway guys, thanks for joining me. Make sure you check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. That's all in the description below. There's a lot of great pictures I'm putting up there, some sneak peeks for my video, so I'd appreciate you guys joining me on at least one of them. Anyway guys, see you next time. Thanks.